Hello, Singaporeans. JB condos are selling like hotcakes. Prices are up 18% near the RTS station, rentals have doubled, and everyone is saying buy now before it's too late. But here's the nightmare no one talks about. Singaporeans have lost years of their lives, and potentially hundreds of thousands of dollars, on unfinished projects and legal traps they never saw coming. And if you're thinking of buying across the causeway, this video might just save your life savings. So stay till the end, because I'll share two shocking real-life case studies. And more importantly, the steps you must take to protect your wealth before signing anything. Also, like this video so more Singaporeans can see this warning, and subscribe to Wealth for You. We help you stay cash flow rich, not cash flow trapped. Just a quick disclaimer. This video is for education only. It's not financial or legal advice. Always consult a qualified professional before making cross-border property decisions. Chapter 1. The RTS Hype. Let's start with the hype that's driving all this buying frenzy. The Rapid Transit System, or RTS, is being hailed as the game-changer for cross-border living. When it finally opens in 2026, it's expected to carry 10,000 passengers per hour in each direction. Think about that. Thousands of commuters zipping across the causeway every hour. No more spending half your Saturday morning stuck in jam. Naturally, developers have jumped on the bandwagon. Every new launch near Bukit Cagar is being sold as the perfect retirement home or a high-yield investment. Studios that used to rent for just 1,000 ringgit during the pandemic are now going for 2,200. That's more than double. Some buyers, like one 66-year-old, are so convinced that they're buying two units, one to rent out for income and one to enjoy as a weekend or retirement home. And let's be honest, with two-bedroom condos still priced around 240,000 Singapore dollars, it's very tempting. For many Singaporeans, that's less than a down payment for a resale HDB. You start imagining the weekend lifestyle, crossing the RTS for cheap massages, cafe hopping, and saving money on groceries. It all feels like a smart move, almost too good to miss. But here's the reality. Hype sells dreams, not guarantees. Before you write that check or sign that OTP, let's slow down and look at the real-world risks your property agent might never mention. Chapter 2. Mr. Z's 10-year wait. Now let's meet Mr. Z, a 65-year-old Singaporean who, like many of us, dreamed of a peaceful weekend getaway just across the causeway. Back in 2016, he bought what seemed like the perfect unit, a dual-key seaview condominium in Permis Jaya. It wasn't cheap, around 1 million ringgit, roughly 305,000 Singapore dollars. But the location was attractive, the view was stunning, and the promise was clear. Completion in 2 years. Imagine his excitement as he pictured family dinners on the balcony, renting out the second unit for extra income, maybe even retiring there one day. But 2018 came and went. No keys, then came 2020, and with it, COVID. The developer blamed delays, labor shortages, supply chain issues. 2022 rolled around. Still nothing. And here we are, almost a decade later, and the project is still not complete. A new developer has since stepped in and is now promising to deliver the keys by December 2027. But after waiting nearly 10 years, Mr. Z and the other buyers can only hope. To make matters worse, around 1/3 of all buyers are Singaporeans, just like Mr. Z. Many of them have formed WhatsApp groups, held meetings, and pleaded with the developer for updates. But until the day construction restarts and the building is handed over, their hard-earned money is stuck. No rental income, no holiday home, no certainty. Just imagine having 300,000 Singapore dollars of your savings locked up for almost a decade. Money that could have been working for you in dividends, CPF top-ups, or other investments. This is the painful reality that many don't see when they look at that glossy sales brochure. Chapter 3. 170. Singaporeans in legal limbo. If you thought long construction delays were bad, this next case might be even more shocking. More than 170 Singaporeans bought what they thought were dream weekend homes in Johor Bahru, only to discover, years later, that they didn't actually own them. These properties were sold under something called a private loan scheme, or PLS, a term that sounded harmless on paper, but came with huge consequences. Instead of true ownership, they only got a 99-year lease, effectively making them long-term tenants. They couldn't get strata titles, which meant no voting rights on how the property is managed, no say in the upkeep of their own building. Even worse, they needed developer approval just to rent out or resell the unit, meaning their investment wasn't fully under their control. And here's the kicker. If the developer ran into financial trouble, creditors could legally seize the property. One buyer spent 275,000 Singapore dollars, thinking he had bought a safe, private weekend retreat for his family. But legally, he was nothing more than a tenant at the mercy of the developer's decisions. Imagine the shock, the frustration, and the sinking realization that you might never be able to recover your money or sell on your own terms. For many of these buyers, it wasn't just about losing potential gains. It was about losing trust, control, and peace of mind, the very things they hoped a property investment would give them. Chapter 4. The real risks you must know. These two stories are not isolated. They are warnings for every Singaporean thinking about buying property across the causeway. First, the risk of project delays and abandonment. Just like Mr. Z's case, what was supposed to be a 2-year project turned into a 10-year waiting game, with no keys, no rental income, and no clarity on when or if it will ever be completed. Imagine your $300,000 locked up for almost a decade. Money that could have been earning CPF interest or paying you dividends. Second, the legal traps. Those 170 Singaporeans who discovered they were under a private loan scheme, they thought they were owners, but instead, they became long-term tenants with no strata titles, no voting rights, and no control over renting or reselling. Worse, if the developer collapses, creditors can swoop in and take back the property. Third, over-leverage risk. Some buyers actually mortgage their Singapore ECs or HDBs to pay for these holiday homes. That means putting your safe, appreciating Singapore asset at risk for an uncertain, foreign investment that could easily go sideways. Fourth, weak legal recourse. Once the developer is in trouble, your options are limited. Cross-border lawsuits are expensive, time-consuming, and often lead nowhere. In most cases, the buyers just have to wait, hope, and swallow the loss. Finally, developer risk. Even big-name developers can subcontract to smaller builders. One project might be beautifully done, and the next one could be left half-built. A good past record is not a 100% guarantee. I'm not sharing this to scare you. I'm sharing this so you don't become the next headline. Because these are not just numbers or statistics. These are real Singaporeans, retirees, families, professionals, who are now stuck in limbo. And I don't want that for you. Chapter 5. How to protect your wealth. Now that you've seen what can go wrong, let's talk about how you can protect yourself and make sure you never end up like Mr. Z or the 170 Singaporeans in legal limbo. First, buy completed units only. If Mr. Z had bought a unit that was already built, he wouldn't be waiting nearly a decade for keys. Walk through the property yourself. See it with your own eyes. Touch the walls. Don't just trust glossy brochures or artist impressions. Second, always hire a Malaysian property lawyer. Those caught in the private loan scheme probably sign stacks of documents without fully understanding the legal implications. A good lawyer can spot red flags like 99-year leases, missing strata titles, or clauses that restrict your ability to rent or sell before you hand over a single cent. Third, check ownership structure carefully. Freehold, leasehold, strata title? Don't assume. Confirm in writing. If you can't get strata title, understand exactly what rights you're giving up. Fourth, verify rental yields with real market data. Mr. Z was told he could get 5,000 ringgit a month in rental income, but in that area, that's nearly impossible. Go to property portals, ask local agents, and see what units are actually renting for. Fifth, don't mortgage your Singapore home for a non-essential holiday property. Your EC or HDB is your financial safety net. Don't risk your core asset for a luxury weekend condo that might never get completed. Finally, rent first, buy later. Johor rentals are still cheap compared to Singapore. 2,000 ringgit a month can get you a comfortable unit. Try living there for 6 to 12 months before committing hundreds of thousands. You might find you prefer renting long-term, with zero risk and zero stress. These steps aren't just about money. They're about protecting your peace of mind. Your wealth should work for you, not keep you awake at night wondering if you'll ever get your keys. Final thoughts. Here's the bottom line. Singapore is still your safest wealth base. If you really want to buy a JB property, do it for lifestyle, not speculation. Enjoy the weekend getaways, the cheaper food, the space, but never gamble your retirement money on promises that may never be delivered. The truth is, Mr. Z's 10-year wait and those 170 buyers trapped in legal limbo aren't just stories. They are wake-up calls for every one of us. So now, I want to hear from you. Would you still buy a JB property after hearing these real stories? Yes, but only completed units. Yes, still think JB is worth it. No way. Too risky. I'd rather just rent. Your comment could help another Singaporean avoid a costly mistake. So share your thoughts below. Smash that like button so more Singaporeans can see this warning before it's too late, and subscribe to Wealth for You so we can grow a community that is cash flow rich, financially smart, and always one step ahead.